Many people describe destroyers as kind of, they call them greyhounds, but they also refer to them as the workhorses of the Navy, pretty much because they're almost like this Swiss Army knife.
Obviously, in a name, we destroy stuff.
The mission of the destroyer is basically we're a warship. Basically, just to bring the heat.
The mission of the destroyer, when you go on deployment, is to protect the carrier.
We have underwater detection and tracking and also engagement capabilities. We have surface warfare capabilities. We have a lot of capabilities so far as surface and air interception. Yeah, buddy.
So life on a destroyer,
it's not a normal working environment.
It can be really hectic. Things change at a drop of a hat. We could be called upon to go anywhere at any time. And there's very few of us on these ships. It's exciting, it can be boring, but always dynamic.
It's definitely smaller than aircraft carriers and all that. But it being so small, you learn a little bit about everything. Like, you know everybody, you get to see what everybody else does.
We're all cross-trained individuals, and I've certainly found that down to the most junior sailor we've got. They are kind of rough and ready to get into whatever needs to be done day to day. There's no one just doing their core role on a destroyer if that destroyer is actually succeeding at its mission set. With 270 or 340 people, no one can stand on the sidelines.
You learn a lot of your rate on a destroyer. It depends on the day, but most days it's, you wake up, get out of your rack, get ready, go get dressed, shower, whatever you do what you got to do, and you go to work.
No matter what you do, you always have a watch and stand. So for me, for example, I stand watch in the morning and at night. And all the time in between is work time or personal time.
Everyone stands watch because the ship has to be manned 24/7, right? We're on the water, so we have to basically be eyes and ears at all times. We also have drills during the day. It could be damage control drills. We also have training, our normal mess decks and galley hours, recreational time.
So different people there, they could be on a nocturnal schedule. They could be absolutely sleeping during the day and working or standing watch during the night. It just depends.
So if we don't keep track of the days, or if we don't try to go out, it'll be Wednesday for a week straight and won't even realize it. So the first time I went underway, it was Wednesday for 3 days, because if you think about it, our days are in 2 parts, so it'll be Monday part 1 and 2. That's how we keep track of it. So it's just trying to keep track of those types of things.
Going into the Thunderdome.
My name is Fire Controlman Aegis First Class Surface Warfare Amanda Michelle Kellis. I'm from Vass, North Carolina. I'm a spy technician on board, so my radar is the primary air and surface search radar, high power 360 degree multifunctional phased array. We're able to pick up targets from a really far distance away and be able to track them even further and help our ship be able to have early warning for any inbound air or surface combatants.
We're gonna make sure we know you. Who are you? What are your intentions? This is a U.S. Navy warship. We are not to be messed with. Sometimes it's slow, but sometimes it's absolutely the opposite. And then, almost immediately, it could just mellow out again. It's just...
Exercise. Set. Yellow. Safe. Weapons posture 1. Air.
Oh, I can't wait to shoot a missile. Oh,
yeah.
172.
Success.
Okay, my name is Ashley Lisette Sepulveda. My job title is electronic technician. I am from Miami, Florida, but my entire family is from Puerto Rico. I actually did not want to go to a ship. I didn't know any surface ships at all. I only seen carriers, and that's because of movies. My job on a destroyer, I'm an electronics technician. Another word that they call us as ETs is the everything tech. So it's pretty funny because we do essentially fix everything on the ship, from phones to simple speakers to more complex systems like weapon systems, communication systems. So yeah, we get hands-on with pretty much anything electronic. I just always loved engineering since a little kid. I always say that. I just thought everything that I'm doing is really, really cool. I get a little bit like nerdy when it comes to what I do. I definitely love DDG. I'm really glad that I came to a small boy versus a big tech because I get to touch all of the equipment as an electronics technician, and that's why I joined, because I love being an ET. I did engineering a lot in high school, and I went to college before this. Here I'm getting the experience as I wanted as an electronic technician, being hands-on with all the equipment. Because we're in such close premises with all the equipment, one person essentially will be able to do all, versus on a carrier or a bigger deck, they have several departments that can handle, let's just say, one specific equipment. So they'll be working on that one for most of their time, rather than an ET on a small boat, you would be working on everything.
Okay, so my first name is Victor, last name Rocha. I'm a GSE. I'm currently the LPO for EMO4, which is the gas turbine electrical. My main role here is to make sure that whatever the bridge calls, that we're able to provide propulsion for that, no matter what. So I was originally born in Granada, Nicaragua, and then I came to the United States in '99, and I lived in Pennsylvania. So it's actually, I was an undergrad at Penn State, and then when I showed up here, it's nothing what you expect. So I'm a gas turbine technician, electrical. What that means is I work with jet engines that produce power and propulsion. I oversee a work center of 8 people, and what we're in charge of is making sure that these engines produce propulsion and electricity for the ship. The first time you go into an engineering space, you're kind of in awe, because you just don't realize how big an engineering space is. You also don't realize how big the ship is. Like, it kind of looks big from the outside, but then you realize how really big it is once you're inside and you're like this little insignificant dot walking through the space. It's loud, it's very loud. You know, you have propulsion machinery going on in there, you have all types of stuff going on there. Everything that keeps the ship afloat and running is in there. So it's loud, it's hot.
This is the heart of everything. Everything starts down here. So when we're getting ready to get underway, down here is like a busy time. Everybody's trying to start systems, trying to start fuel, move oil, so on and so forth. So these engines put out for like 40,000 horsepower and can push a 505-foot ship through their water at like 30 plus knots. So it's pretty incredible. It's incredible. We only have 4, and these 4 engines do a great job of doing it.
The 3 generators that we own, that literally powers everything on the ship. It powers everything from our water pumps that give us drinking water to the radar. You know, everything is powered by us. We're pretty much the ones that supply power to everybody, and then we turn that over to the electricians' mates who actually route the power where it needs to go. So we meet halfway with them.
It's how we make our drinking water. You have somebody come around every hour and check on it and make sure we have enough water for the crew. And provide hot water to the whole ship for showering and cooking and all that. Back there, literally you can see the shaft going all the way back to the back end of the ship. And you can tell, like, if you know, even if you're not topside, you can kind of tell how fast we're going based on how fast the shaft is rotating. This is like one of the great things about doing what I do. It's never a dull day. You always got something new going on.
My full name is Joshua Sanders, and I am GM2 Sanders, and I'm a gunner's mate. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Before I joined the Navy, I didn't know there was different types of ships, you know, just based off of what you see on TV. big ships, small ships. We're on a smaller ship, but no, I didn't know anything at all. So as a gunner's mate, we were responsible for all small arms regarding pistols, shotguns, rifles, and torpedo tubes, and various amounts of other equipment on the ship. Also 50 calibers and 240s. So all types of small arms and crew serve weapons. We're responsible for maintaining them, issuing to the crew. Anything in our job that we shoot, we always have to do pre-fires. So that's making sure that the weapons are good to go, make sure that they function properly. So it's like, okay, cool, we had a fun day of shooting, now we gotta clean up.
Doing a hazmat? No, I don't know.
Okay. I think that we might have to just forego the swabbing at the moment since
I live in a space that has 24 racks for females, and we have 3 sinks, 1 shower, and 2 toilets.
It's weird because I've never worked anywhere where like you kind of are, you know, like you go from being in a professional setting to like in your pajamas just hanging out like within 200 feet.
You get accustomed to it. Yeah, it's small. It's not a lot of wiggle room, but it's like yours, you know, and you just get comfortable in it. You just gotta make it yours, you know.
Here it is. This is home. I can sit up in it, which is pretty nice, because otherwise you're kind of constricted to this little like tinderbox of love. And we're allowed to have like an 8x11 sized area for family photos, or your kitty cat, your doggy, your goldfish, whatever you want. We each have our EVDs, or emergency escape breathing devices, just in case, you know, bad business happens, lights go down, there's a fire and smoke, we can clock that guy on, and we've got good breathing air for about 15 minutes to be able to egress out of this space and topside. These are our hurricane straps that keep us inside the beds. I'm sure the more tinier folks, there's a little bit more margin for error.
It's alright, you know, you just gotta remember where you are, because if not, you know, you'll wake up and hit your head. It's not too bad. It's really not.
Just hop in there, you know, like literally. Bam. Right on in, you know. And it's comfortable.
Oh yeah, honestly, somebody told me this when I first entered the Navy. Literally the best sleep you'll ever get because the ship's rocking. So even if it's like 3 or 4 hours, it's probably some of the best sleep you'll ever have.
The XO is very keen on if the light touches it, then there could be dust. So he creeps around really, really thoroughly. So in anticipation of him coming here, I'm just gonna, while we're talking, just kind of straighten up people's business.
You're adrift, crash on the deck, sleeping bag, and the angle irons. So we just did Berthing 3's berthing inspection. It's something that we do daily. The premise behind it is that this is our largest berthing on board. Roughly 100 people live in here, and so if we can't keep it clean, the sheer nature of that many people living in this space, it just adds to the ability of the body to fight off the infections, the germs, etc., the crud, the cough. So keeping it clean every day is a requirement, and it's about keeping the crew healthy.
That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
Let's go, baby. Let's get this gym, baby.
The people of us.
So the gyms are very small, they get very crowded, and they get very hot and sweaty.
That's the best thing about ship life. You get creative with tiny spaces. You figure out how to make it work.
You don't know what's going to happen in the middle of the ocean. You don't know if you are out there fighting a fire or a damage, or we get hit by something. You would have to swim, you would have to pull yourself up. You don't know what dangers you will face, and if your body is not physically prepped for the stamina endurance that you're about to face, then you are in danger of yourself and maybe putting other people's in danger because they might have to go back to help you because you can't physically help yourself.
Kind of prison workouts in a way, I suppose. I mean, I run on a treadmill as well. You're kind of just like, you're running and then we start taking a turn, you're like, whoa, and then it's like a hill, and it's like, ah, so it's a little bit more interesting than just running on flat land treadmill.
The things get heavier, then things get lighter, and then things get heavier.
The four of us work together, we're all GSEs. We all work in the same division, so we probably spent like 40, 80 hours a week together. So we do everything together. We all sleep in the same berthing. We go to lunch together, we go to breakfast together. We work out together. It's good, we have this good camaraderie. We're always like, of course we get mad at each other, just like you would with anybody, but it doesn't last very long. You're gonna be with this guy this whole underway, this whole month, we get along great. He's like a brother to me and vice versa. We all know each other's families and stuff. You end up being real close. Even outside of work, we hang out together.
Ooh, we got chicken wings. We got mozzie sticks. We ain't got no mozzie sticks. We got jalapeno popper and pizza. Some zap. Our CSs do the best that they can, honestly, with having to feed so many people 3 times a day. Especially when they're given the opportunity to get a little frisky with it and throw a little of their own flair. That's always when people go crazy over it.
Every day we serve about almost 300 people. We wake up around 4:30 in the morning, cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We usually get out of here around like maybe 8 o'clock after cleaning all that stuff. On smaller ships, we make more things from scratch. Oh, it boosts morale. That's like one of the biggest things is if the food tastes good and everyone's fed well, I think the morale of the crew is always high.
He's thirsty. He's been working all day.
John Louis. The best thing about being underway, everybody makes fun of each other.
Yeah.
Especially Trenko.
Never. That's I never do that.
We all literally depend on it. If EM1 fails to do his job, then we don't have any lighting anywhere, no matter how much power we produce, and so on and so forth. So we give each other a lot of crap, but we all work literally shoulder on shoulder. So it's kind of like it's like your brother. You hate him, but you love him.
In the middle of the ocean, we make our own water, we make our own power, and we make our own support system. Your loved ones, they're elsewhere. And you really just have email or snail mail or care packages. So you got these people that you work with that all of a sudden are your support system, that are there helping you whenever things may not be going right at home, or you're missing something like holidays or birthdays or births of children.
It feels like a family. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know you have so many people who have your back and vice versa.
It's kind of almost like your given family. You can't exactly choose who you're on the ship with. After a time, people just grow on you. You have to engage with these people on the daily, especially on a destroyer.
The brotherhood. I never really had people to, say, you know what, hey, I got your back. The way I look at it, they are pretty much my brothers, and I hope that I've been a good brother to them as they have been to me.
Since I've been in, I've never met anyone who fails to give less than 100%, everybody's always willing to be up for the task. We all know how important it is to rely on one another. If I fail, that person fails, and so it's a domino effect.
No matter what rank you are, no matter what rate you are, you're here for a reason, and everybody has a job, it has a purpose, and we all take care of each other.
The crew is going to become a second part of family, and they're going to be the ones having your back when things go wrong.
I couldn't not recommend going on a destroyer. It's definitely an interesting lifestyle. definitely not the easiest. So if you're up for a challenge, it's definitely a place to consider.
You get the real feeling of being a sailor and being in the Navy, which is being part of a crew.
You get the sense of pride of like, you know, not just serving your country, but like, you know, like being part of like a command that can do all these missions. And, you know, you see the fruits of your labor every day. Like what you work and what you do literally comes to fruition all the time you walk around.
It's sometimes it's card games and joking around and goofing, but you can't really, when you're standing on like this steel ground, you can't really forget what you're here for.
I don't know. I hate this question. It's like, what is EOD? I hate that question.
So we're basically escorting to a certain location and providing security 360 up until we get there. Once we get there, we're going to set security for them until they're ready to take over.
So the mission of the Seabees is to go where needed and provide construction support, whether that be wartime, peacetime, humanitarian efforts, anywhere around the world at any time.
We build houses, we build towers, we go in and refab like a hospital. I got to do a couple of those. We built some schools in Dominican Republic. So initially I just thought like, hey, I'm gonna just be swinging a hammer, but then I found out it was a much wider spectrum.
It's pretty remarkable being in such a unique field of the Navy, because there's so many times where I introduce myself to people and they ask me what I do and I tell them I'm in the Navy, and they always ask, well, are you on a ship? What ship are you on? And I'm like, no, I'm actually on the ground. I'm with the Seabees. And that's always the first question, what are the Seabees? And we are a fully functional construction force that can deploy anywhere in the world and provide support, take over units of land like how we are here in this field, and defend it. So we are a very unique force.
So we have a 12-month home port. In the middle of that 12 months, we have our field training exercise, which is what we're doing right now. And during FTX, that's where we're practicing our skills and capabilities. We're being evaluated to get our certification for deployment.
Right now I'm building a hasty skirmish, one-man pit. So once I get this done, I can get him in the pit. I can start drawing up the range card and then teach him how to do it himself. We practice this, you know, because it can boil down to us having to do it for real. And like I say, I want to practice the way I'm gonna really do it in real life. So we do this, you know, based off, you know, everything we learn, we bring it all together. And then just amplify it, implement it, and get it done. But I guess you could say the biggest reason we do this is because we Seabees, man. That's what we do. It's just what we do, man.
Being tested on indirect fire, small arms fire, sniper attacks, and how we defend against those. So we, as Seabees, we're not offensive units. We're all defensive.
Do we do up here? Thank you. That's okay. You can walk. Get up. There you go. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I'm an instructor, so I teach these guys. We have squad leader class, crew serve weapons class, we have fire team leader class, and we also have convoy security. So all these classes that we teach the trainees how to do this prior to coming out to the field. So we almost mentally preparing them. So then once they do come out here, the things that we taught them are the same things that we grade them on.
Either way.
So when I first joined, I would compare it to being, a day laborer on a construction site, swinging a hammer, doing this, doing that. But as a builder first class, you're more in that project supervisor role, making sure the project's getting done on time, tasking your crew leaders with their day-to-day tasking and making sure that they're carrying that out and making sure they're doing it properly.
There's all kinds of different jobs on effects, but generally you're going to see, if you're an electrician, you're going to try to set up power for the camp and all the tents and make sure that everyone has, heating and cooling if possible. If you're security, you're going to be digging fighting positions or standing at the ECP trying to keep the camp safe, setting up concertina wire and HESCO barriers.
522, how copy?
I'm a squad leader for security. I'm in charge of the security up there at the ECP, ensuring all my guys know their jobs, personnel inspections, vehicle inspections, and I did stand ECP in Iraq and Afghanistan, so I do know that some of these skills we learn out here are very valuable.
It really varies on what your job is. Some people have a watch, work, rest rotation. Me on the project, I'm just going to have a long work rotation unless they want me to go stand some watches. So we'll wake up, we'll have breakfast, we'll go out to the site, and we'll just build until we don't have any light left or any material, or we get to a point where we're comfortable for the day.
In a few months we'll have our NIAX, which is our integrated exercise, so we'll be working with EOD, we'll be working with Coastal Riverine Squadron, and it's just one more step further, practicing our capabilities to work with other units. We also work with, we've got 19 Marines out here from the 8th Engineering Support Battalion.
Today we might be in Gulfport, Mississippi. Tomorrow we might be in the desert. We might be in Japan. We might be in Korea. We might be anywhere in the world. So we have to be prepared for whatever comes up.
Camp is absolutely horrible now. It's a slip and slide, basically. My daily routine right now is I have 8 hours of entry control point, sentry watch, which is just letting people in and out of the camp and being the first line of contact to anyone who wants to see the camp. And then from there I go 8 hours to pit watch, where I come to a pit and I watch a sector of the field, and then I go down for 8 hours for the day. So 8, 8, and 8. Getting in our pit earlier at midnight at 1 a.m. this morning, we didn't have steps. It was just literally just taking a step, sliding and catching the walls, going all the way down. And right here, Echo 4, I'm an Echo company for this FEX, so this will be my tent. So come on in. So this is my rack. I got my sleeping bag, my little pillow I bought here. I keep all my gear on the right where it's easily accessible, and I got my 2 bags here, my roller bags. On top of my bags, I got another bag with all my hygiene utensils in here. Got my canteen, which I take down there to clean out my razor, to shave my face. And then I got a towel there to wipe myself off when I'm done. Now the best part of the day, taking off your kit after a long day.
Coming out of high school, coming here, I didn't even know what the Seabees were a thing. So like coming out here to an FTX, helmet and gun and vest, definitely a different experience than I actually thought I would be going into the Navy.
Yes, finally, after 16 hours of watch, I could finally go to sleep.
I'm from San Diego, so I never thought I'd be outside sleeping in a tent or basically camping. This is definitely a different environment. It sucks to like sleep in a tent. not be able to shower, not get hot meals every night. It's just like everything that you don't want to go wrong goes wrong. Gotta take this back.
The unique thing about field life is probably just the overall atmosphere of it. Normally we work either in an office or on a construction site, but when you get out into the field like we are now, it brings out a different side of people. You definitely learn a lot more about your shipmates and about yourself, living out in the rain all day where you can't just go in a building. Not everyone handles FEX and field life the same. Also, we really got to lean on each other, make sure that we get through this.
Over there. 11 o'clock, 11 to 10.
The field is designed by nature to stress you. It's not designed for you to be comfortable. We want to push you to the limit so that in a real world event, it would be second nature, like muscle memory. So it's designed to push you to the limit. So you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be drained, you're gonna have to deal with the elements. You may be wet, you may be cold, but with this situation, the unique situation that we're in right now, it pushes you to deal with those situations down the line. So when it does come up, you're like, oh, I know what that's like. That's cool. I got it.
Everyone's hurt out here. Everyone's in pain. Everyone's struggling, whether their shoulders are hurting because their kit's heavy, holding their rifle gets heavy after a while. So we're standing in such long watches, and it can be miserable conditions. At 1 a.m. today, it started pouring down rain on me and my pit mate, and we didn't even have our tarp up yet, so we had to get that up. And I'm drenched head to toe, and I'm just so pissed off at the time, and I just don't want to move. I'm just sitting there and bracing the suck, and I see my pitmate still moving, and he's still like grinding and getting the job done. And it's like, I totally respect that. I have to help you out now. Even though I feel horrible and I'm so angry, I'm not gonna let you do this by yourself. I'm gonna help you out. And I know if the tables were turned, he would be right there with me, and he'd be helping me out too.
Your shipmates, they become your family, and you depend on them, you rely on them. But then you have your actual family who, you know, your kids or your husband or your wives or your mom and your dad, and they almost become your extended family. So you have to learn how to like mentally prepare yourself to be in that situation.
It's definitely a tough thing. You got to make sure that if you are married or something, that you have the right person that's with you, that's willing to be committed for that kind of thing. I'm married with a kid, so it's always an adventure for sure with that. Now that my son's 9, it's a little more tough.
There's definitely a lot of good, and there's quite a bit of bad. You just gotta wonder, you know, is it worth it? And for me, my family's taken care of, I'm taken care of. I have a lot of pride in what I do. Military service is a family tradition. I think when I retire from the Navy, what I'll take from it the most is I learned a lot about personal responsibility, integrity. I didn't always do the right thing before the Navy, and even when I was junior in the Navy. But I think I owe a lot of who I am now to what I've learned in the Seabees and in the military in general.
It's a lot of hard work, no doubt. If you're very hardworking, you like moving equipment and doing construction, that's all they do. So you would actually have fun doing it. You really would have fun doing it.
It's rewarding, it's hard. You'll be a part of the family. The best thing I can say about being a Seabee is I'm proud. And they will be proud too, because I know I've sent things home and I'm like, Mom, look, I did this. And my mom like, wow, you did that? I'm like, yeah, I did that.
When people hear the word like EOD tech or bomb tech, you know, they think about like stuff they see on like, you know, cutting wires and stuff like that.
I always get asked about the cutting of the wires. Like, oh, you want to cut the red wire? I'm like, I'm very rarely cutting wires, but.
You can parachute, you can scuba dive, you can shoot every gun in the U.S. arsenal.
We shoot, we jump, we dive. And I don't know. It sounds funny, but I think when you're faced with an explosive hazard,
or something inherently dangerous, we're the people that you can call.
So Navy EOD, we deal with getting people from point A to point B in a safe manner, dealing with any explosive hazards.
So you have surface, which goes into a lot of your IED type problems. You have the diving mission set, anything water-based, mine countermeasures. We're versed in chem and bio, hazards, your nuclear hazards, not to mention we're capable of jumping, shooting, maneuvering, that kind of thing as well.
Lots of robot training, and then at some point you can't get a robot in there. You're gonna have to actually walk in there with your feet.
Proficient at demolition, which is very important. Proficient at shooting. Hold that one, I'd say, up there as well. Must be able to, be a good diver and then attack whatever mission set comes. So and then if you throw all these things together, it becomes what EOD is. It's not just one thing. It's all of it.
The mobile unit is kind of the heart and soul of it. Your mobile unit, they're gonna have the platoons that actually push out to do the work.
So our mobile unit, and every mobile unit has a different breakdown of different platoons with different specialties. We have these 8-man platoons. We'll go off and we'll do our specific mission sets, and there's about 12 platoons at each mobile unit that will comprise an EOD mobile unit.
So generally, all the teams are gonna have roughly the same training, and then you're gonna go into your mission-specific stuff.
We are set up to do an 18-month workup and a 6-month deployment, and you're training pretty much for that entire time.
Typical day, you might come into work, and I guess it depends on the day. Shoot.
A typical week is structured where at least 3 days are dedicated to training pretty hard on one of these mission sets.
I like shooting, so naturally anytime we go shooting, it's great.
So it is very important that we are proficient in small arms.
Seven, 8, 3.
So the number one thing, we are a combat support unit. So we support units like Special Forces, the Frogs, Rangers. If you can't be safe with a weapon, you can't be competent with a weapon, you cannot support those units. So at a bare minimum, you have to be able to flow competently and safely with any weapon system that you might have to hold. Shooter stand by. 1.14.
There's a lot of times where it's weird to me that I'm doing activities as part of my job that people either pay really good money for or can't imagine that that's what I'm doing for work. Things like jumping and diving and not sitting in an office all day. That's every week it's a new mission set and you're focusing on something new, so it doesn't really give you time to get bored.
We're in sunny Key West right now. Our platoon came down here to get our deep dives that we'll need for our OFRP. So yeah, it's a good time to get good training because we can't get this depth or clarity in Virginia Beach. So this is a good little getaway from there and get some good diving and good weather. It is fun. I mean, there's always a lot of work with diving, especially the pre and post. It's a lot of work, but you do all this work and then you actually hit some good depth and good dives, and the places we're going actually have some pretty cool spots to see. So yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
All right, Dan, let's do it.
I enjoy it. I like to dive. I'd say it's probably split 50-50. A lot of guys that were in the Navy, but they'd rather be on land.
Yeah, I think most of my team gets pretty sick, including me. Both rocks, I'm ready to puke. But yeah, it's just the name of the game. I don't know. I've always been this way my whole life, so yeah, super easy to get seasickness.
Miracle cure for seasickness, ginger bits.
That's not bad. Oh, God.
Yeah, so I think the big thing that distinguishes us from Army and Air Force and Marine Corps EODs is the fact that we're a premier maritime EOD force. And that just basically boils down to the fact that we have undersea capabilities with the Mark 16 diving, the scuba capabilities that we have. Again, that's very broad for some of the more specific things and operations that we can do underwater. But like I mentioned before, we're more just facilitators for that freedom of maneuver, and we have the capability of taking that undersea. I mean, our major threats are going to be any mine that any ship could possibly come across them, because the damage of that could be catastrophic.
Part of our mission set is clearance of routes for boats to go through. And so that's why we're diving this rig.
Yeah, you'll have your long days, and sometimes you might have shorter days. So if you end up with that time off, you use it. Personally, I like to, go skating. That's my thing. So I'll blow off some steam at the skate park. Just kind of get my mind off the work day, and relax a little bit.
Say it's a very physically demanding job, so anytime you can tie your hobbies into things that also increase your physical fitness, that's a win-win. You need to enjoy sweating. You need to enjoy running and lifting weights, because that is a standard that we have.
You got to be a good runner, you got to be a good swimmer, and you got to be strong. I think it's one of the most important things, and I'm not just biased because I love to work out, and it's mostly what I do in my free time.
It's an expectation, and people hold themselves to high standards, and I think physical fitness is a part of that. And it's basically built into our days to go work out and be in the best shape that we can be, so that you don't have to worry about that.
Ordnance is heavy, and it's this kit is heavy. The bomb suit's heavy. The robot's extremely heavy.
Oh yeah, that bomb suit is insane. I don't put that in there, but you need some physical stamina to be in that thing. It's gonna get hot, it's gonna get annoying, it's gonna get heavy real quick. So you need to be able to have that strength and longevity.
To the forefoot, right? These guys on the front side are taking over. Remember we talked about your panic button. So what's everybody's panic button for you? It's shifting my weight forward, and then when you come up, right, those hips aren't going to get all the way through because it's such a quad dominant exercise. So don't go as low. The reform is fine.
So the Strike program is a brand new program that they've introduced to the EOD community, and it basically focuses on teaching us physical fitness in a healthy, productive way, so we're not injuring ourselves. Not only do we have great facilities to work out in, but we also have strength coaches that are teaching us the appropriate way to lift, to work out, to train our bodies. We have physical therapists and athletic trainers that are basically at our whim to just make us better and fix what's broken and help us continue our job.
This is a great program for dudes to walk in, get fixed, get help, and then be ready for the next chapter. So yeah, it's been a really good program so far. I'm happy with it.
For the old guys, it'll get us back in the fight, and for the young guys, it's going to keep them in the fight a lot longer.
We've already come across 2 booby traps, so we're just going to go ahead and go set up a charge on it and get rid of the ordnance where it lies.
Bardo! Bardo!
When I started the pipeline, I was going through EOD school, there was a senior chief that told me having a platoon is like getting the keys to a Ferrari. And I didn't really understand what that meant until I got here and got my own platoon, but they're These people are really intelligent, want to work hard, very driven individuals, and when you put a group of individuals like that with a multitude of experiences coming from different walks of life with a ton of different backgrounds, and you manage that effectively, you see something come together that is like driving a Ferrari. The platoon is built on trust. If you know that no matter what level a person is at on the platoon, that you trust them to do what they need to do when you're in a high pressure situation, then there's nothing else that you can really ask for. And I think that that's what the community itself is really built on.
You have to really trust each other. You build that bond. That's why we spend so much time together, is you need to trust that guy, you know, with your life, essentially.
One of the mottos of the community is you'll never die twice, because we're not going to forget. And the community does a great job of remembering those we've lost. And even as like new guys like myself come up and come through the pipeline, we know everyone that has passed away from the Navy EOD, and I think that that's really important, and we understand the gravity of it. So it's not working right now?
The arm was doing the same.
I train and I want to learn as much as I can so that I can be an asset and a help to my teammates if I were ever in a situation like that. And that's what we train to. And I think that that's what, when you train that way and again have that trust with the people that you're standing next to, like that ultimately becomes instinctual when you need to be in a situation like that.
Everything that we do out here, there's a lesson behind it, and those lessons were learned in blood. So if you don't take this serious and nobody catches the fact that you're not prepared and you make it out the door, you're putting your life and the people who you're supposed to be protecting's life in danger. When you have really high stress jobs, really high risk jobs, you generally pick that job. You volunteered. I can't think of a single example of a high risk job that you can't just walk away from at any time, including this one. Even myself, if I wanted to today, I could drop this body armor, rip the badge off my chest and walk away. So when you are the one who put yourself there and you stay there voluntarily, you don't really think about worst case. You prepare for it, so you're ready for it, but you don't really think about it. I do have a family, I have 3 kids, so at some point we're gonna deploy and I won't be able to go home. Today we're gonna embark on a 3-hour tour. The weather starts to get rough. This tiny ship will be lost. One of the main reasons I joined the Navy is to fund the dream trip. We got about 4 years left, and if everything goes well, this boat's gonna turn into a bigger boat that we can all live on. These kids are gonna get to see the world without the contractual obligations that I was under when I saw the world. So Thomas, the middle one, he asked me why I always had to leave, and so Sarah, my wife, she told him he's got to go make money so you can get your gumballs. And then one day I was headed out the door and he told me, he said, "Daddy, I don't need gumballs anymore." So when I'm home, I'm absolutely home. And when I'm at work, I'm absolutely at work. It took me a while to learn where that line is, but I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing now. There are not a whole lot of places to where you get a familial bond with people who aren't your family.
There is a high standard to what's expected. Not everyone is suited for that, but I would recommend the community every day of the week. I think that the EOD community has some of the best quality of people that I have ever really seen, and the people are what keep me wanting to be a part of the community, so I would definitely recommend it.
Look at how healthy we eat.
Zoom in on a salad.
Mr. Time? Oh yeah, for Insta, for the gram!
It's a place where you'll absolutely be shown that you could use your brain and body more than probably any other field out there.
It takes a person that, you know, has a strong mental attitude, and as well as, you know, keeping it positive all the time.
You know, how strong is your will? How strong is your mental fortitude? How strong are you? And do you want to be stronger? Do you want to strive for that every day? If it happens to be in your cards and you survive the selection process, then you know, you got a pretty cool job waiting for you.
Just knowing the people that have come before me in this community that have done amazing things, and knowing the sacrifices that they have made and the things that they have done, and I think that's why I can take a step back and just be like, this badge means something. It really is an honor to be a part of the community, and that is absolutely because of the people that came before me and the people that are working alongside of me, and that's what makes me proud to really wear the badge. I was leaving the jump zone yesterday, and I was just like, you know, it's really cool that like on a Thursday I was jumping out of planes, and that's what I had to do for work today. And you take it back and you're like, it puts it in perspective, and it makes it even more worth it. So.